Americans continue to see these high gas prices?
Well, they're not very high. If you look at what they were supposed to be in order to get rid of a nuclear weapon with the danger that entails. So the gas prices have come down very much over the last 3-4 days. I know, that's what ABC says. But the fact is that if you look at the stock market's up, everything's doing really well. And the big thing we have to do is we have to make sure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, because if they do, you want to talk about problems, you'd have problems. Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that?
Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo-Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, and that is who the world ignorantly calls God. Bahashim, which means in the name, Yahweh Shai, which means He is our salvation. And that is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man, who, by the way, only came for the Israelites, all right? Now, what brings us to our discussion / topic tonight is what Trump said, okay? The fact that Trump said something that caught my attention to let me know that he's in on it, all right? And see, for the mass, the regular, the layman, they didn't catch it, all right? I'm specifically talking about the first clip. When the news reporter asked him, what do you think about the gas prices? And he says, they're not as high as I thought they would be, okay? And then the second point he made is that the stock market is doing good, all right? So what is he saying? He's saying in order for this agenda to be pushed, that what? Gas prices must go higher and the stock market must go worse, or the stock market must get worse. Right now, everything is still in the realm of possibility, okay? Which goes into that second clip of him saying that this system is outdated and they need to bring in a new system, all right? One that's going to be revolving around cryptocurrency, digital currency, all right? So in the current condition or state that we're in, the market, the stock market, isn't doing bad enough for this to happen, and the gas prices aren't high enough for this to happen. So what can one deduce from that? That it's only going to get worse in order for this to come to fruition. Gas prices will go up astronomically, and the stock market is going to have to get a lot worse, a whole lot worse, so that what? This system that's already on life support can be moved out the way completely and ushered in this new system. Okay? That's what I caught from those two clips combined together to convey a message. Okay? Gas prices, because the lady says they're $4 a gallon. Okay? So probably they got to get up to probably what? $8, $10, $12? All right? $6 maybe nationwide. $12 in other places like California. But nevertheless, they got to get higher than $4 because it's not getting the job done. All right? So this whole thing that's happening in Iran with the Strait of Hormuz, it's all part of the agenda of the global elites, okay? It's all according to their agenda, all right? Trump slipped up and he said something. And, not too many caught it. Because why? They're looking for Babylon to be healed, okay? And here it is. He's telling you that it will not be healed. Because gas prices are still relatively affordable. The stock market is still relatively doing good or well. In order for this place to really go to hell in a handbasket, prices at the gas pumps are going to have to go up astronomically nationwide, maybe $6, $7 a gallon, probably close to $200 a barrel of oil. And the stock market is going to have to reflect that, okay? It's going to have to do a lot worse than what it is, all right? And he's telling you that if you can read between the lines, see? But because you're so bent on America bouncing back and being made great again, and he's giving you and these elites has given you Americans the ideal candidate to hit your wagon to with MAGA, Make America Great Again, okay? Because you're still holding out that by some strange, by some strange idea or by some strange way that Trump's going to save America, that he's going to get the gas prices even lower than $4. They're not going to go higher, and that the stock market is going to continue to rise. That's what you're hitching your wagon to, all right? And he's telling you that it's not going to happen because why? We seen the second video. He's sitting here and telling you that this system is outdated, okay? It's ancient. So he's showing you that he's taking marching orders from the elites. He's the one more than likely that they put in power or into position to bring forth all of this. Okay? But you got to see this spiritually. All right? So it says 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us. See, if we were still in the world, still lost behind these ideologies and being a Christian and thinking America's going to go, good again, we will look to Trump like, why aren't these prices going down at the gas pump? $4 is way too much. But he's telling you it's not as high as it could be for a country that potentially has nuclear weapons. So it has to go higher than $4 nationwide. But see, we understand these things. So we're not as the others in sleep. Let's read that. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 in verse 6. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 6. It says, therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. See? Hey, we gotta give all praises. Call Haloyim La Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. We gotta give all praises to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. All right? For putting us up on this knowledge. To know that America isn't going to be healed. To know that America is on its way out the door. To know that things are only going to get worse. Higher gas prices. The stock market is going to crash eventually. This system is going to be obsolete. Something drastically has to happen to cause this. Now, albeit the Strait of Hormuz is doing this, but it's moving at a slow pace, okay? So look for something to escalate over there or something. This ceasefire, I believe it ends or it's up on Monday, the 21st. if I'm not mistaken, or Tuesday, whichever day that is, April 21st or the 22nd. Could be Monday or Tuesday the 21st. So look for something drastically to happen moving forward after that, or hey, even before. Okay? But it says First Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 6, therefore let us, who is the us? The elect, those that are fighting to endure to the end, those that are measuring the time diligently, those that know what time we're in. And we're not in the time of peace and happiness. As it says in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3, if I'm not mistaken, there's a time and place for everything. All right? And the time that we're in, we're not in a time of peace and happiness. Okay? See? Now, if you ain't watching and you ain't sober, then you thinking that $4 is a lot nationwide. But it's only going to get worse. Okay? And if you thinking that the stock market is doing good, so now that your 401k, your IRA is even doing better than it was last year, you're sadly mistaken. Okay? That crash, it's inevitable. And because it's your 401k, your IRA, and whatever else you got that's tied to the stock market, when it taints and when it crashes, everything else is going to go down with it. And then they're going to bring out what? The savior, a CBDC, a central bank digital currency. It may be a government, stable coin. Okay? So this is looking beautiful by the moment, man. All right? For those of us that are in the truth. So it says, therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. See? Call Haloyim. All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for allowing us to be what? Sober-minded. All right? In these days, in these times. All right? Because we could have been easily drunk off of different philosophies. All right? As it says, they stumble, but not with strong drink. All right? Let me see. Strong drink. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse 9. It says, stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. See? They're going off of this Babylonian philosophies and ideologies. And we could have been part of those, Americans, because we was once in that mind state. But all be praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for waking us up out of it and sobering up before the great day of his judgment comes, man. Man, this is a beautiful thing. This is a beautiful thing, man. To know that it's only going to get worse. All right? It's only going to get worse. We at the end. And we're not drunk off of this Babylonian juice of saving America, making America great again. Gas prices going below $4. When are we going to see $2, $3 of gas? The stock market is doing good. So why can't we get lower gas prices? Because it ain't designed for that. All right? The stock market is doing good. Gas prices are somewhat believable. But it's going to show soon. All right? Because you got to remember, it's all being propped up. So eventually the dam is going to break through. The water's going to break through the dam. And then we're going to see for what it actually is. See? It's a beautiful thing. All right? Let's read that again. Isaiah 29 and verse 9. Stay yourselves and wonder. Cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For Yahweh have poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep. And these people, these Babylonians, these Americans, they are in the deepest sleep of them all, man. And Jake too. 2/3 of our people, they drunk off that wine and their sleep. Deep sleep. It says, for Yahweh have poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, have he covered. Verse 11, and the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which man delivered to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. See? And your pastors, your preachers, they can't tell you what's going on. All right? Most of them has been bought and sold, and the ones that haven't, the Lord isn't dealing with them, man. They're not going to tell you that Edom is the so-called white man. They're not going to tell you that Babylon the Great is the United States of America. They're not going to tell you these things because why? They're too busy trying to get you to tithe. They're too busy trying to get you to come to a Wednesday night fish fry. See? Meanwhile, you got to think to yourself, how the hell I'm going to get to that Wednesday night fish fry and gas prices is $6 a gallon? The dollar ain't the dollar no more. It's losing its purchasing power. See, these are the things that's coming. And your pastors, your preachers, especially in these Christian churches, aren't getting you prepared and ready for these things. All right? So the Lord is putting deep sleep on America and all of its inhabitants. Okay? Only the elect is seeing these things for what it is, okay? And they're doing what? They're turning back to the Lord and seeking him 10 times more because they know when it happens and it's inevitable that they're going to need Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai to fight for them, okay? So when it says 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 6, it says, therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. See? So we see these things, okay? The Lord has given us the eyesight to see these things, all right? That we see that gas prices aren't going to go down. And if they go down, they're not going to stay down, okay? It's just going to go down enough just to keep you calm and quiet before the storm. See, the stock market is doing good. As he said, it has to do a lot better. Okay? Gas prices are stable. As he said, they have to get a lot higher. Okay? Because why? The threat of a country with a nuclear weapon. Okay? So this thing isn't over by any stretch of the imagination. Okay? We just have to be patient and let the Lord work. Okay? Because he's working on the minds of these kings. Proverbs 21 and 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. It says the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So the Lord is in control of all of this. Okay? And we just got to stay the course, Lord willing, and endure to the end and be counted worthy of the number. All right, the 144,000 and the innumerable number of men, women, and children, okay, that will be delivered out of Babylon the Great, the United States of America, and elsewhere from the thermonuclear fire. So when we go back to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 6, therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For verse 7, for they that sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. See? They don't know what's going on, man. They believe everything they hear, especially on mainstream news and to a lesser extent social media. They don't have any way of filtering it through the scriptures. Okay? Which is why they're drunk, which is why they're sleeping at night. Which is why they don't have no idea of what's getting ready to come down the pipe. All right, but we do, Lord willing, if we endure and we be part of that number and receive mercy in that time. All right, so lest Satan, 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us. See? Fall out of this truth, put your hand down off the plow, you look back and go back into the world, guess what? You've already been had. Satan's got an advantage of you. He's played tricks and he's worked your mind, the imaginations of your thoughts. Oh, man, y'all been saying that for the longest, man. Gas prices ain't $6 like you said. It's $5.99. See? Don't be simple, Jake. You know shit ain't finna get easy, man. You know jobs are finna start cutting workers and letting workers go. If the economy isn't doing good, how the hell can they continue to hire people to pay? They're gonna do what they call downsize, piece by piece. If you got a company of 100 people, they may start to let go 5 here, 6 there, and cut their losses. You may not even get a severance package, okay? You may get a coffee mug and a pen, and that's all they can give you. We're going out of business. We ain't got nothing to give you. All right? See, and Jake gonna lose it. Like that one Jake who was working for that trucking company for 30 years, and he didn't even get his pension, man. This is why people are burning down warehouses, man. Because of the damn pay. See? This is what's coming to Babylon the Great, man. Sedition amongst men. See? And this is right where they want all hell to break loose. Okay? So then they can do what? Provide you with the solution. Don't worry about it. We got a thing called UBI, Universal Basic Income, where depending on your pay and whether or not you're employed or how many hours you work, we're going to subsidize you and give you a little bit more to get you through the week or the month. And all you got to do is just download this digital ID, which is going to eventually be the RFID microchip. See, they're going to walk you to it gradually. Or they may just say, F it, let's just bring out the big guns. Let's just shut down everything. Let's have an EMP attack or something like that. Who knows? But we got to be what? Sober-minded and ready. All right? And let's what? Let's read it. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us. See? If your whole thing is you're holding out hope for this place to be healed and to be revived, you're going against the will of the Heavenly Father. Because he said we would have healed Babylon, but she cannot be healed. Forsake her. Let everyone go back to their country. Roughly paraphrasing, showing you that what? There is no prophecy that America, Babylon the Great, will and can be healed. It's it. This is it. Okay? Gas prices are going to rise. It may have some kind of impact on the stock market. All right? So gas prices may rise and the stock market may go a little bit better, but eventually it's going to crash when people can't afford $6, $7 a gallon of gas, man. All right? It's going to eventually reflect on how bad the economy is doing, man. Okay? We just one major incident away from all hell breaking loose here in Babylon the Great. All right? So we're going to continue to watch and be sober, lest Satan should get an advantage of us. Why? For we are not ignorant of his devices. Okay? Pay attention when you go to the grocery store. Look at what you get and see how steady it's rising in prices. Okay, don't just go to the grocery store and shop. Be observant. Okay, be observant. All right, if you buying something and you've been buying it for a while, and now all of a sudden you see it's going up, and then you may see it's going up even more, you know something is happening. Okay, if you don't know anything else, pay attention to your surroundings. All right, don't just be walking and just doing shit just to be doing shit. Be observant. All right, that's why it says Ephesians 5:15. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as what? As wise. See? Because what? Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. See? This is Ephesians 5:15. It reads, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Why? Verse 16. Redeeming the time, because the days are evil. See? So, hey, be very in tune to your surroundings, man. You drove by this gas station, you seen this 420 there. You drove by the next gas station, you seen this 390. You drove by another gas station, you see it's 415. Now, a week or two later, the 390 is 420. And the other ones are 415, 460. You know something is happening, man. Okay? And then you go back and drive by 2 or 3 weeks later, them prices is still in the $4 range and even higher. Oh, you know we cooking now, okay? You know we cooking. See? So you got to be mindful of your surroundings, all right? See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as what? As wise. Okay? Because the what? The days are evil. It says redeeming the time because the days are evil. People are going to start doing things that they never would have done when things were just, a week or two, a few weeks ago, livable. When gas prices are high, when there's no more gas, when there's no more food, people are going to start doing things that they're going to be reverted back to doing that this place hasn't seen in a long time. Cannibalism. It's going to be a major factor. Okay? When that famine hit. All right? People are going to be trailing people home. Especially if they walking out with a big ass cart of food. They're going to be, you might well paint a target on your back. Here it is, your wick done hit and you done went and got everything at one damn time in a time of famine. See? And you out by yourself. You a woman with 3 children and you got a shopping cart full of groceries that's going to last you and your 3 children, you think, for the next 2 or 3 weeks or until your wick come back in again. Little do you know you being trailed home because why? You ain't watching your surroundings. You're not walking circumspectly. See? So it's finna get real out here. Okay? Lord willing, very soon. Abaratasa, Father will. All right? So walk circumspect. All right? Walk with a purpose. Okay? Know the times that we in. It ain't time to be out here walking in the dark, drunk, and asleep, man. Wake your ass up. Okay? Sober up. Be vigilant. Okay? It's finna get real. These warnings are going to come less and less. And then it's just going to be, hey, we here. Okay? We here. All right? And when it happens, you can't say nobody didn't give you a heads up. Because you lying. All right? The servants, the prophets of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai have been prophesying these things to happen for 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, 5 years. 5 days, okay? The point is, they've been prophesying about it. You don't have no excuse. There's no cloak for your sin. All right? See, you just take life for granted. You just, you just happy to be where you at. You're happy to go to your job. You're happy to pay your rent. You're happy to, get a little vacation. You just happy for this. See, the Lord's going to shake things up for his elect's sake. All right, he's going to shorten the days for his elect's sake. Matthew 24 and 22. Lest those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sakes, those days should be shortened. See? These are the times we coming into. You better be prepared. You better get right. You better seek the Lord while he may be found. All right? Let the wicked forsake their evil ways. All right? These warnings, they ain't going to be here pretty soon. Okay? Let's go ahead and close out. 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It reads, be sober, be vigilant. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. See? And you want these gas prices to go down to $4 or less. You want them to go to $3 and $2.50. If you're looking for things to get back to what they were before February the 28th, when gas price was like $2 something a gallon, if that's your whole MO, hey, you better sober up, and sober up quick. Okay? This devil is deceiving you. Never trust thy enemy. All right, he told you gas prices aren't high enough. All right, for a country that has a capability of nuclear war or nuclear missiles, or however he said it. The stock market is doing good, so it ain't doing bad enough. So he got to. He's the one that's been put in position to get shit really where these elites want him to go. The stock market to go a lot worse, potentially crashing overnight, and gas prices rising up high, so that other countries will be forced to trade in other currencies outside of the petrodollar. You know, making that obsolete. Bringing in that new digital currency, central bank digital currency, crypto, whether it's XRP or not, you know, it's going to be based around digital. All right. So it says 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8, be sober, be vigilant. See? Why? Because your adversary, the devil, the false accuser, the deceiver, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Those that are not walking circumspectly, those that don't have their head on a pivot, those that are just walking through life just like nothing else is gonna happen. Oh la 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 la. Those are the ones he's gonna devour, man. Because they're gonna walk right into that trap, that snare. Okay? They'll have no idea what's coming down the pike, man. They're gonna walk right into that snare, that trap, which is going to be that RFID microchip. It's going to happen. And we on the brink. You just got to continue to stay focused and locked in and be patient. All right? So that's pretty much going to end this on this topic. We're going to wrap it up. With that being said, pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong. Stay in the faith. We're almost home. Shalom. Peace.